Joining me now is former Pennsylvania Congressman Joe Sestak. Admiral, good to have you with us tonight. What do you make of the latest news? Your first take on it.
Well, I hope that we are going to be successful. Another day or two to try to get to this agreement is well worth our security. Look, Ed, we already had Iran a year ago within 1 month of having a nuclear device. They have already been set back 1 year because we degraded their uranium from 23% all the way down to 4% and destroyed the centrifuges that they need to get back up there. If we can now solidify that, as well as this research and development issue, where we don't want them to be able to do any more research except for a nuclear infrastructure for medicine, for example. If we can do these types of things, our security is so much better because the only other option is war. And this conflict would be a tough one. We can do it, but it would be very challenging.
Admiral Joe Sestak with us tonight, who's running for the Senate in Pennsylvania, who spent 30 years in the military in Navy intelligence. What do you make of the piecemeal effort here? If Iran does X, the world would do Y when it comes to sanctions and relieving of sanctions. Is this really the carrot and stick going to work?
This is exactly how it should be. Look, Iran wanted the sanctions all lifted off immediately. No way. Negotiations should hurt. And we want them to understand that those sanctions are going to be lifted only when they adhere to an agreement, and they'll be step by step. Not only that, we want TV eyes right there, day in and day out, with surprise inspections to make sure, just like President Reagan did with the Soviet Union when he did the talks on nuclear arms, trust but verify. I think if we are successful at this, that we will have an Israel and a United States of America, with our troops in that Persian Gulf, so much more secure. Because, Ed, as I said before, our militaries can stop a problem. We can't fix it. And we can strike them. Yeah. But in a study I was involved with 40 other generals and admirals, we can only stop it for 4 years if we strike their nuclear facilities.
Well, Mr. Sestak, looking at this, the opposition to these negotiations obviously is more sanctions will really strangle the Iranians to the point where they're going to have to capitulate in negotiation. That's the big conversation that's going on in Washington right now. As you see it, is there a time when the United States would walk away from the table, or are we just never going to walk away from the table? And Iran's going to be able to play this to the very end as long as they can. Your thoughts?
We must walk away from the table if we are not able to make sure that their uranium and their plutonium is so degraded or shipped out of the country with verifiable means that it's locked in. And second, that they are not able to have the fabrication of centrifuges, once again, the ones we destroyed, to enrich that uranium once more. And third, to make sure that in the final years of an agreement, they can't speed up and do the research in order to get into the new type of development. No, we must walk away if this is not locked in.
All right, Admiral Joe Sestak, great to have you with us tonight, sir. Always like to get your take and insight on things. I appreciate